This is a video on how to repair your headphones, particularly the ones that have the mic input as well as the volume controls and the button that allows you to end calls and receive calls and skip through songs. So here you can see the finished product. I have my connector on and everything works well with them. Both channels work, mic works, I can skip through songs, I can change the volume, everything's good. So I will show you how I did that. First thing I did was I ordered a TRRS connector from showmecables.com. This is part 945, has metal housing. You can also get part 944 that has a plastic housing. So here you can unscrew this, alright, and then you get this bare connector. Okay, and here is where you're going to make your soldering. So you're going to solder here, here, there, and here. Okay. So this is a TRRS connector. This is a tip, left channel. This is a ring, right channel. This third one, the second ring, is ground. And this one is the sleeve or the mic. And how this configures on this side, the tip, which is the left, be right here. Alright, the second ring, which is a right, would be right here, the bottom of the post. So right, which is the second one, bottom of the post, tip, left channel, top of the post. Second ring, the third contact here is ground. It connects right here. The fourth contact is a sleeve or the mic, and then it'll connect right there. So that is how your connections are. That's I think on the Show Me Cables website of how these connections are. So if you don't have these are Bose headphones. And when I cut the jack off, I left a few inches just so I could verify where each wire, how it connected here to the bottom. So besides the headphone jack, you're also going to need a soldering iron, obviously, solder, wire strippers, little sandpaper, and then a multimeter. And the multimeter will just make sure you have your all the connections the correct way in terms of which wires go to which point that you're going to be soldering at. I'm going to show you where every wire goes, but if you have headphones that aren't Bose or that have different colored wires, not as many wires, this is how you can figure out where they go. So here you can see I have red wires, green wires, copper colored wires, and then here I have a center white wire that inside this center white wire I have red and green wires, and then surrounding the center white wire I have more red and green wires. So just to verify, if I have exposed all these wires, you have enamel. So the red, green, copper, more red and green and white. It's all enamel covering the copper wires. So you have to strip off the enamel. I'll show you how to do that in a bit. But this has already been stripped. So if I make a point here on the copper, and then I go down here, okay, I know the red wire then goes to that second connector, which is the first ring. So if I go back here, put my probe on the second connector, I know now that that second connector will then go here. So I know my red wire needs to be soldered right here. Okay. Now you can do the same if you don't have these same type of Bose headphones to figure out where every wire goes. But I will just tell you now where every wire goes. So the red wire goes here at the bottom of this post. Okay, the green wire is going to go on the top of the post, and that's going to be the hardest to solder because this is very small. The copper wires, as well as the red and green wires that surround the white wire in the middle, go here on this ground pin that's kind of at an angle. You can see that ground pin right here. Okay, and then the wire, the red and green wires that are inside of that white wire, that's your mic, and it will be soldered right here to the sleeve. So red wire down here, the bottom of the post, this little circle, green wire right here, copper wire right here on the side, as well as the red and green wire that surrounds the white wire, and then the red and green wires inside the white wire be soldered here. And that's the mic onto the sleeve. So that's for the Bose. And like I said, if I didn't know where these go, I could just probe, expose a wire, and then figure out where it connects down here. And then I can work backwards to figure out where I need to solder on this side. So the first thing you need to do, actually before you strip, I should have probably done this before, you need to put this cover through. Because if you don't, wait till after you're soldering, you won't be able to get it through. So that's the first thing you do. And now, I went ahead and already stripped this wire. I think I used my wire cutters on the 20 gauge, and it worked okay. So like I said, we have 2 red wires here. I've already twisted them together. 2 green. We got the 2 copper. And this copper, that's not actually the bare wire. It's actually still the insulation on the bare wire. So you have to take this enamel off. And then here we have red and green wire that surrounds this white wire. And then inside this white wire, we have more red and green wire. So I've actually already untwisted this. But if you look at the bottom, you can see where the red and green wire is actually covering the white wire. So you got to twist it off. So this white wire, this is the easiest one to get inside. Go ahead and cut this off, but I just use my strippers on 30 gauge. And then you can strip the white insulation off. Okay? And then you're left with red and green wires right here. And this is your mic wire. This yellow wire, just nylon fibers used inside the cable for strength and durability. So now we know what all the wires are. So these, the red wires, all right, that's going to be your right channel. Green wire is your left channel. The copper wire is your ground. Red and green that surround the white, also ground. And then the red and green inside here are the mic, as I said. Now when I solder these down, I'll twist the green ones and the red ones and the copper ones together. Well, not together. I'll twist the green ones together, solder them. Twist the red ones together, solder them. Then I will twist these copper ones as well as these red and greens that surrounded the white wire. So I'll twist these 4 wires together for the ground connection. And then I will, these are already pretty well twisted together that are inside the white wire. And I'll solder those down. Now the hardest part is actually getting the insulation off. And the easiest way is just to use a lighter. So you can use a lighter, burn it, kind of blow it out. And then I use my sandpaper to get the soot off of the copper wire that's now exposed. Alright, so I now have some copper wire that exposed. But I have maybe this much copper wire exposed. So let me give it one more burn here. You really want to make sure you have good connections. There we go. So twist it. I'm going to get the soot off. Okay. So now you see I have like this much copper wire exposed. Now I only want a little bit of copper wire exposed to solder, because if I had too much, if I had a whole bunch of copper wire, the part exposed that wasn't actually soldered could touch other contacts, causing a short. So the insulation already on there does a pretty good job in case it hits another contact. So you don't want to have too much wire exposed where it could make a short on another connector. So then once you do this and strip it, you are ready to solder. So you do that for every wire. And that is about it. And like I said before, we're going to go a little overview here. Okay, so these red wires right here, both of them, there are two of them, right? They're going to be twisted together, and they will be soldered. Let me get the sandpaper out of the way. They'll be soldered right here on the bottom of this post. All right, green wires, which is your left channel, will be soldered right here on the top of the post. The two coppers, as well as the red and green wires that were surrounding this white wire, they get soldered down to this ground post right here. Okay, and then the wire that's inside, the red and green wires that are inside of this white wire, they get soldered to the mic connector, which is a sleeve right here. So I think that is just about it. Again, be careful soldering. You want to make sure when you take this insulation off that you have exposed copper and that it is clean and there is not much excess copper on this wire where it could create a short. Also want to make sure your soldering tip is clean, because it's going to take some very fine soldering, especially when you connect the green wire here to this post right there. But if you do all that, it should work. And as I said, these are for Bose headphones, which are meant to work with Apple products. Some headphones that aren't Apple, I believe the mic, which is a sleeve, and the ground are switched. So for these headphones, this is a ground, that's the mic. For some, it might be reverse. But you can figure that out again by, once you cut it, by taking your meter, probing the wires, and then see where it connects down here, and then find out where that connects on this side. And earlier, when I was probing these wires, that was after I had exposed the copper wire by burning it and then removing the soot. So that is about it. I was successful, and my headphones now work great. So it's an inexpensive way of getting your headphones in working order instead of paying a lot of money for some new ones. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Thank you.